All right, Brooke Brents, everybody, the new queen of Morrilton. Yes, yeah. So Brooke Brents, thanks for joining me today and talking all things real estate and just getting your perspective on things in Morrilton and just your career in general. Um, you've been in it for how long now, Brooke?
3 years, a little over 3 years.
A little over three
Oh,
years.
selling real estate. I've been appraising for 5.
You've been appraising for 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so appraisal for overlap there for a good while, right?
Yeah, up until
So,
this year.
uh, did you hate dealing with realtors when you were doing just the appraisal stuff? Come on, go ahead, say it. Go ahead.
Sometimes my biggest pet peeve is they didn't always put into the MLSs what they should have. My favorite is the unknown or see agent remarks, and there's no agent remarks.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got more information. Just scroll down, and you scroll down. There's like
nothing.
nothing,
It's like,
nothing. Yeah, I've never been guilty of that before, so I don't know what you're talking about there. I'm sure other agents have issues. But I'll blame my assistant if it ever comes up, Caleb Moore. Okay,
yeah.
it's because it's Caleb and Jody, so
Oh,
well, it's probably me. It's not
I was
Jody.
going to say, are we going to try to blame it on Jody? Is that why?
No, we can't. Even if I tried to, nobody would believe me. So, okay, so you've been in it for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the perception, and I'll give the appraisal side of it a step away from it,
Mm-hmm.
but just your impression of what real estate agents did before you got in the business, then you get into the business, and how that perception changed while you were there.
Oh, okay. So I only had one other dealing. What before appraisal or anything, we had only bought and sold a house with one agent, and she was awesome. But when I got to see her on Facebook, she's always doing fun things, and I was like, she has all this free time.
Mm,
Then whenever I was talking to her about joining, she was like, "Oh, you're gonna be busy," and she said, "I work 24/7," and I was like, "Ain't no way. There's no way she works 24/7." So now that I'm in it, I get what she means. Like
yeah.
I may have, like today, I've had something with real estate from going on from 8 until I walked in the office a while ago at 1:45.
So your perception was beforehand you'd have more free time.
Oh, lots of free time. I actually got
Yeah.
in business because I was a healthcare professional and my husband's a fireman, so our schedules kept clashing. And I was like, I need something that I can be at home with my child. And so I got into the appraisal business, and then whenever I was approached to become a real estate agent, and I was like, well, I don't really want to do that. I'm not a salesman. That's not what I want to do. But then I was like, well, it won't hurt. I'll have just as flexible schedule, which I do have a flexible schedule, but it's not really my schedule as much as it's my client's schedule. We kind of have to
Yeah.
rotate around them.
So whenever your clients say, "Hey, we need to go look at this house at 4:30 in the afternoon," and that's our only time that we get to go look, you kind of have to go do it or find a day that works best for both of you at that time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I hear that all the time, Brooke, when I have new agents that come in. They
Mm-hmm.
say, I ask them, I say, well, why real estate? It's my number one question I ask them, why real estate? And they always say, most of them say, well, because of the flexible schedule that you get to have. And I almost chuckle every time they say that. I'm like, you have no idea.
None.
If you have this, this is what I tell them, if you have this on you, you're never off the clock.
Mm-hmm.
You're never off the clock. I don't care if you're in Fort Collins, Colorado, or some beachhead in South Carolina, whatever. You're gonna be doing some kind of deal, talking to somebody, and you're never off the clock.
I I have gotten accepted offers on the beach.
100%. I get I get more business when I'm gone, when I've left the office, than I do when I'm actually here.
Absolutely.
So I quit posting when I'm actually on vacation
Mm-hmm.
because people, I don't want them to know that I'm actually gone.
Yeah.
Because if they do, sometimes either they'll call somebody else, number one, or number two is they'll feel like they have to get something done now and they need me right this very second. And I don't have my phone on me. So I quit posting like that
Absolutely.
I'm gone. So your biggest perception was the time difference. You are,
Absolutely. Yeah.
it is a little all consuming at
Mhm.
times
Oh, it is.
with everything. Okay, so but you have been that appraiser before. So
Mhm.
how have you been able to benefit the appraisal side with the real estate side as you've been assessing properties? Because with an appraiser, you have to put on like one hat.
Mhm.
And then with on a realtor, you put on a separate hat.
Absolutely.
How have you been able to blend those two together to help your clients?
Probably my market evaluations. I come in at it as separate way or two different ways. It's the same I do the same process, but if I'm doing appraisal, uh, I don't focus as much as square footage, if that makes sense. That I don't base a price off of price per square footage. I do it about comparables and if I think that it would actually appraise. In the
Hmm.
same sense, I have to negotiate, or not negotiate, navigate that with my sellers because my sellers always want to be like, oh, I think this is it. I think it will go for this. And so I think that is my best.
Is it easier to do the appraisal because basically the client is the bank, right? It's just
Yes.
you're all you're doing is submitting a report.
Yes.
But
I
when
don't
you're
have.
doing it to a client,
Hmm.
it's a lot more emotional because it's not just a report, it's a house. You got to present this information right in front of them.
And it's usually their house,
Hmm.
and there's always an emotional attachment to it, whereas the bank is not emotionally attached to anything.
They're just looking at the numbers.
They're just
Yeah. So you have to be able to, uh, the nuance to the real estate side of it is like you've got to be able to talk to people
yes,
about the subject property. And yes, the square footage makes a difference and the price and all that stuff. But really, this is not just a black and white issue. This is home
hmm
to somebody. You kind of have to talk to them a little different
yes.
than you would the bank, right?
Just present it and be like, okay, these are the facts about the property. And whereas with the client, an actual person, they're like, well, it's a lot different. I have to be sensitive to their
Sure.
opinion.
Every situation's a little different, is it not?
Absolutely. There
Yeah.
is
And you have
no.
to be able to talk to them in different ways,
Mhm.
depending on where you're at. So if you had uh, a son and daughter who mom and dad passed away and you took over trying to sell mom and dad's house, a little different than if it was husband and wife getting a bigger house because they outgrew it.
Yeah.
Different conversation, right?
It is, and it's
Yeah,
also a different conversation whenever it's a new construction. They
100%.
like they have no emotional attachment to it.
It's black and white.
Mhm.
It's what's the offer, what's my nets, what's my profit, right? That's it. Yeah. Um, so as this you've been on this journey in real estate, give me not specific like names and stuff, but give me a transaction that you say, man, this was so difficult, so hard. I didn't know if I was gonna. It almost maybe make or break you during that time. What's one transaction that's really stood out above the rest?
Hmm. Tracy and I kind of have a running joke that none of our transactions are ever easy, especially when we're doing it.
What is an easy transaction, right? I don't even know what that is.
I don't have any one that just is overwhelmingly this was the hardest transaction I ever have because each transaction has its own difficulties. Like each transaction, the one that I was just telling you about, we just closed on. We literally had to move it 3 times, um, and it's hard to keep your buy. I have the buyers, and it was hard to keep them from not freaking out. Like what's happening, what's going on, why do we keep having this run in, as opposed to I had another property that we went under contract 3 times, um, and it fell through 3 different times. No fault of my sellers, and I finally got it sold. Um, I just don't have one that is, oh my gosh, how did I get through it? Sometimes
Oh,
it just
if
is.
you haven't yet, you will. Trust me.
I feel like there's,
let let me ask you this, because I remember when Brooke Brents came in my office, uh, and you hadn't been in the business for probably, it was less than a year for sure, but maybe it was just
6 months.
6 months. Okay, I was thinking it was closer to 6 months.
Hmm.
Do you remember that conversation?
Yeah, I said I had made a mistake and I need to go back to healthcare.
Okay, all right. So walk me through what you were thinking.
Okay.
You know, as you were coming into the office, why did you what was that weight that was on you that made you think this isn't going to work? I'm going to have to go a different direction.
Then it was a lot. I just felt like it was all a lot. I hadn't had, I had just had my first closing, and it was a difficult one. Uh, it was a building that used to be a dentist's office that these people were buying as a residential. So it was a commercial, technically it was a commercial transaction, but they were using it as residential, and it was the agent wasn't easy to deal with. It was, and then I kept having to be pushed back, and we had some other things that happened, and I just was like, I don't know why. I don't know if it was worth it, is what was going through my head. I was like, I hadn't ever had a closing, and so I was like, I don't know. I didn't, my expectations, I guess, were set really high.
Hmm.
And it was not my expectations. And also, I hadn't had any business in 6 months besides that one. And I felt like I was working hard and just didn't have, there's no instant gratification. There's no set paydays. It was a lot of uncertainties then.
And so I remember you coming in and you were hitting on all those points, and it was a lot all at once. And I would say that most new agents, and I could give you more names of people like you that were sitting in my office and saying similar issues. I guess what made you, out of that conversation, what came out of it that said, you know what, I'm going to give this another chance? Why didn't you quit after that?
I'm not a quitter, but you had said this, what was it? The seeds that I was planting now would be fruit. I can't remember exactly what you said, but basically along the lines that what I was doing now, I would have in a couple months. Just stick it out. You're doing you basically, you and Tracy.
And so, did you have some success shortly thereafter?
I did. I closed that year. Didn't sell but one house the first 6 months, and I ended up that year with almost 2 billion. I think I was at 1.8.
You're at 1.8 your first year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's pretty incredible in Conway County to have 1.8 in your first year. A lot of agents don't have it, and they're in a lot bigger market than what you are.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that you were pretty beat up,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a lot, and I was in a very similar situation that you were in. I had gotten was out of Conway at school, newly married, and I was coming up to Russellville once or twice a week and just working in the office, taking some inquiries that came in. There was no Zillow back then. There was no lead generation back then. It was like somebody's going to call in, and I might get a call every now and then. And I was doing okay. I was doing about a deal a month or something. But then I decided, hey, I'm pretty good at this. I'm going to get into this full time. Got into it full time. Didn't have a sale for 3 months, not even close.
Mm-hmm.
And you come to that realization, hey, there's still bills to be paid. I'm newly married. I got rent to pay now. I can't mooch off mom and dad anymore. And I was renting from my dad, just so you know, and I still wasn't going to get any leeway about rent. Okay, hey, money in hand first of the month, or you're going to get a late fee. So it was tough when I finally got I got one deal done, and I remember it was March that I finally got a deal done, and it was like finally. And then from that point on, it was like there was some momentum, like some confidence that came over me that said, okay, you've got the one, you can do another, then you can do another, and you can do another. By the end of it, kind of like you, I had a little over $1 million in sales my first year. But do you think that new agents, have unrealistic expectations when they first come in?
Absolutely.
Why?
Um, I think a lot of it is because real estate in general, the realtors, we are portrayed as pretty glamorous, and people think that it's easy. That they
Yeah.
don't see the behind the scenes, and they don't see the work that we actually have to do to put into it.
That's true. You think because of what they're seeing like on Netflix and other places that these real estate, what is that? Selling Sunset? What is that?
Yeah.
You know, how glamorous it is, and they see all the shiny,
Hmm.
they see the shininess, but they don't understand like behind the scenes here, the transaction alone has got 10 different moving pieces
Hmm.
and personalities that are just incredible. Like you need an extra chair at the table at closing because most of the time somebody's ego just has to sit just at that seat alone. They can't share it with anybody else. Like so many egos involved in it. So yeah, I think it's unrealistic expectations. But if you're going to pretend like a new agent was going to come to you right now,
Hmm.
and they're going to say, Brooke, I'm thinking about getting into this business. I've seen that you are doing great. You've got 100 five-star Google reviews, and I think I can do that too. What advice would you give that agent?
Um, that it takes work, and that you have to be all in. That you can't just you have to be consistent. I guess is what I'm trying to get at. It can't be, oh, I'm gonna be doing this for 1 week, and then the next week I'm not gonna do any of it. There has to be a consistent, okay, this is what I'm doing, these are things. You have to be consistent and organized. Otherwise you're going to get lost in the weeds.
What does all in mean? You use that word. What does all in look like? Because that people don't understand that, I don't think. So tell me what all in actually is and what it looks like.
So for me, it was up until 2 years ago, I was still PRN at a local hospital. Um, just because I didn't want to give up that consistent paycheck. Um, the and so, but once I actually was like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm gonna be consistent. I'm gonna focus all on my real estate and give it everything I got. I reap the benefits of it. Like, you have to be able to focus on your clients. You have to be able to give them the attention that they need. So if they were to come to you at 3:30 and today and say, "Hey, can you show me a house tomorrow?" You make time for them, or they might go to someone else.
Is there such thing as a successful part-time agent?
I think that's a trick question. I don't think so. So I don't like it's not. You can't define a part-time agent as just someone that works 20 hours a week like you would a full-time agent. Well, because I don't think you can just work 20 hours a week. But there's no, I don't think there's a actual full-time or part-time.
Now, it's too all in it's all encompassing. People don't really think about how many hundreds of thousands of dollars we're dealing with in these transactions. And so when somebody says, "Well, I'm going to be part time," that means that part of the time they have to be all in at the 9 to 5 job or the 8 to 12 job that they're doing, which means somebody's trying to get a hold of them and they can't get a hold of them,
Yeah.
right? And people, when they're trying to buy a home or they're trying to sell a home, I mean, these are important financial decisions.
Yes.
I wouldn't hire a stockbroker. Like my stockbroker is what? He is all time. I want him to know everything there is about stocks, bonds, where to invest, why to invest, all these things. I don't want a part-time doctor. Do you want a part-time doctor, Brooke?
No.
I don't want a part-time doctor. Like, wait a minute, my office hours are only 12 to 4 on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. It's not the kind of doctor I want. I want him there all the time, knowing exactly the most up-to-date stuff, medicine, everything else that's going on. Why should real estate agents be anything different, right? They should be all in 100% of the time. And yeah, sometimes, guess what? We got to turn our phones off because we got to take care of family, right? You got kids playing baseball. I got kids playing baseball. Sometimes it's like, hey guys, I got to take a break. I got to concentrate on the kids. And I think in general, not everybody, people understand that you need to take time away to go invest in your family. And most of the time, people respect that. I wouldn't say 100% of the time, but I don't think you can do this thing part time either. I don't think. I think it's. I don't want to say it's. I would. I don't. I don't know if it's impossible because that's a big word, but I would say that it's highly unlikely
Yeah. It's hard.
that you could do it.
It's difficult to be successful, and I mean, my success is different than somebody else's in the office. But if you're not committed to doing it, and like you said, you're gonna miss. You'll have lots of missed opportunities.
So, give me what do you think the market looks like for the rest of 2026 and how you think that it's going to play out with, you have a lot of, you've got the war in Iran right now. Is that going to affect? You got interest rates. You've got AI that's knocking at our door. It's actually knocking our door over. So give me some of your market takeaways moving forward.
Our market, I feel like it's picking up, but I feel like I've got a lot of first-time home buyers, which is crazy. I guess last year wasn't a lot of first-time home buyers. Last year I had more sellers than I had anything. But I feel like it's going to be, the market is going to be what you make it. We have lots of opportunities here in Morrilton right now. But I think that the war is playing a toll. The gas prices are going to play a toll because those are jumping up right now. I think it'll be an okay market. My clients, I just had someone locked in at 5.25, but in the same sense, I also had someone close today with a 7%. So,
Mm.
mhm.
Was it a commercial loan? Just that? It was just, wow.
First
Hey,
time home buyers and no credit.
yeah, so no credit, that would make more sense. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a good point that you made. The market's going to be what you make it. Yeah, if people, we talked about this on Tuesday, is that there's all this fear that seems to be pumping into the market right now. And I think it's part of mine and your job to say, here's what reality is, and here's what it's not. The headlines want to say the economy is going to tank, it's going to go bad, the war's doing this, interest rates are doing that, watch out for inflation, did you see diesel prices? All these things are fear, 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 fear. And some of it's reality, don't get me wrong, I get that gas prices are going up, and that hurts affordability altogether. but let's not throw fear at every single industry and say it's going to be terrible. I think that's extremely negative point of view to say, listen, you're doing better. You're saying, hey, my phone's been going off more. I've been seeing more production. I've been seeing first time home buyers get in the market, which they haven't been able to get in the market in the last 5 years, have they not? I mean, they've been out. So if we can get to see them get back in the market, man, wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
That's what we're missing. So I think we got to be more optimistic about what's going on. Be realistic,
Yeah.
but know that hey, it's not that bad. Matter of fact, there was a stat the other day I saw like uh, 49% of the 49% of people out there thought that the war in Iran was going to have zero impact on the real estate market. So almost 50% of the people said this isn't going to have anything to do with anything. Like it's not going to affect me one bit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe indirectly with inflation and gas prices, but mostly it's not. Right?
Right.
So any last words that you want to leave with, Brooke, about advice that you would give? I don't know. It could be agents. It could be first-time home buyers. It could be uh, anybody. Who would you like to talk to, and what would you like to say to them?
Mm, I don't know.
Well, let's say this. Since we want to leave with a optimistic point of view,
Mhm.
give me something that has encouraged you throughout the years,
Mhm.
or since you've been in real estate, when those bad times have come that you've kind of gone back to. Could be a book, a quote, or maybe somebody that has given you an optimistic outlook.
Really just I go back to God. Honestly, I just keep. I'm like, okay, Lord, it's your plan, not mine, and I put it at His feet and I pray. I don't think that's really what you wanted to hear,
That's
but
exactly what I wanted. I want what does Brooke Brents do to, because this is hard. Like real
Mhm.
estate's difficult. Life is hard. It can have its moments of extreme joy, and but there's trials that we have to go through. So when you go through those, what is that constant in your life that gives you that? Hey, my purpose is this.
yeah. Um, God, and then my purpose is my family. Everything I do is to provide better for them, and they're my drive. So, and my husband's my biggest supporter, my backbone in life. So I turn to him whenever I'm like, okay, am I crazy? And he's like, yeah, you're crazy, but
Yeah, it's good to have that support at home, right?
mm-hmm.
Kind of have to in this business, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. At first, when we first got into it, he was like, "Do you really have to be on your phone that much?" And now he's like, "Answer that."
Answer that. That might be $500,000 sale. You need to answer
Yeah, he's
that.
like, "Answer that."
Yeah.
You
Daddy
know,
needs a new toy. Yeah. Yeah, that's what that is.
that's
I got a bunch of land. I got a new house with a bunch of land. I might need something for it. So answer
right.
that phone call. Yeah.
That's you. You nailed that head
Yeah.
there.
Hey, Brooke, thanks for taking some time to jump on here with me and just kind of share your story and some tidbits about some advice for new agents, for your clients. Uh, you're doing a great job. The Google review thing is legit. Like you've got 70 or 80 five-star Google reviews, and that doesn't even count Facebook. So you're killing it. Really proud of you from the time that you first came into my office and you said, hey, these things are tough. I don't know if I can make it. And I said, you absolutely can make it. You're cutting yourself short. You have all this talent. All you got to do is trust yourself that you can do this. And if you trust yourself, watch what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
And you did. You listened.
I did.
What you did,
Look
what you,
at the words.
yeah, look at the awards behind you to prove it. You trusted yourself. You're president of the board down there currently.
Yeah.
You've been Realtor of the Year down there as well. And so I'm just super proud of you, all that you've accomplished. And I look forward to all the other accomplishments that you're going to have throughout the years.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, Brooke, take care. Have a fun spring break. We'll catch up soon, okay?
Thank you.
All right. See ya. All right. Bye bye.